Welcome to the mom room. It is Thursday. Bubbles is laying right beside me. He's looking out the windows. So I'll be shocked if he doesn't start barking at some point. As soon as somebody walks by, barking. It's like they don't understand we're in a neighborhood and other people live here and they're not breaking into the house. They're just walking by. Anyways, I didn't wear my headphones for this recording and I feel weird. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I don't need to wear my headphones when it's just me talking into a microphone. Today is Monday. Recording this on Monday, a little bit ahead of time because this week is going to be crazy. Milo had his first day of camp. We decided a couple weeks ago, we found this super cute camp in Guelph. We decided to sign him up for it. They do lots of stuff outside and it just seemed like a good fit. So I was like, okay, it's the end of the summer. Let's test it out, see what happens. So he was excited. Like we were talking it up in the last week, like, oh, next week you get to go to camp, like making it exciting, just like we do for everything. Showing him pictures, explaining what he's going to do there, like how much fun it is. And then the following week, so after this week, we'll probably go to my mom's place for a week or like 4 or 5 days, whatever. And so I was saying, you're going to learn so many things at camp. You're going to have to explain to Papa and Sisu when we get there, like everything that you've learned, just really talking it up. They also sent a list of things that they had to have for the week at camp. So we got some things that he would be excited about, like a Mario lunch bag. We got him a new water bottle. We put like labels on everything. We got him new cute outdoor shoes. Just to get him excited, So last night we laid everything out, got his clothes ready, and he's been so out of routine. There's somebody walking by. Get ready. Bubbles, enough. Bubbles. Anyways, as soon as they get to the second window, he'll start growling again. It's just they're in between windows right now. Anyways, he's been so out of routine this summer being home with me. And I was concerned about the whole like getting up, having breakfast, getting ready, brushing your teeth, like Bubbles. Oh my God. Bub, come here. I really need to get my studio set up so I can be in the basement. Anyways, I was concerned about the whole morning routine and it actually wasn't bad at all. He like had his breakfast. He was, like excited to go. There wasn't any problems that I could see happening in the morning. I had a quick shower. I came downstairs and then when it was time for him to get dressed, then he started to be like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And I was like, oh no, like, ugh. So I did something that was probably bad to do, but I was like, you know what? Like when mommy and daddy pick you up today, we'll go to the store and we can get a new Mario Lego. Cause I just wanted him to have something to look forward to after his first day at camp. Like I didn't know what to do, guys. I just wanted to get out the door because drop off is like around 9 a.m. And I was like, I don't know if I can be late. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I said that and he was excited about that. And then we got dressed and he was still like, I want you to stay. Like, mommy, are you staying with me? And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't think mommy can stay. It's just like at school, like mommy doesn't stay there because you're playing with all your friends and it's for kids to have fun. It's not for adults. And he was like, I want you to stay, mommy. Like you stay with me there. Like, I was like, oh my God. So I said, okay, like we'll see. Like, mommy's going to go there. We're going to check it out. We're going to talk to your teachers. Like, we'll see what it's like. I wasn't giving him like a no, mommy can't stay there. But I was like, we just need to get there and then he'll feel better. And I was like, maybe I can stay for a little bit. And, so we pack up the car. He's totally fine now, like gets in the car. We're talking the whole way to camp. He's still excited, like no anxiety, nothing. And then we get there and like kids are being dropped off and there's like all the camp counselors, and there's different age groups. So we found the group for like Milo's group. And she was like, oh yeah, like you're with me, like super nice. Everybody was super nice. And he was like hanging on to me, like hanging onto my leg. And he was like, Mommy, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. And I was like, oh my God. And like the camp counselor was so nice. She was like, we're going to catch frogs and snakes and, like just making it excited. She's like, there's lots of kids for you to play with. Like, we're going to have so much fun. Like, Mommy can't stay here because adults are no fun. Anyways, he wasn't having any of it. He was just like hiding in my legs, like didn't want to go. I felt so bad. And so his group was down this little trail a little bit. She's like, all your friends in your group are just down there. Like, we're going to walk down there. And so I look at her and I'm like, can I walk him over to the group? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. I like that you're setting boundaries with me because I will just stay here all day with my child. Clearly, this is not the first time this has happened for them. And they know it's just like when you drop your kid off at daycare or at school and this happens. They're like, just go. Like, we got it. Like, just go. Because they know as soon as you leave, they're going to settle down and like get acquainted with everyone and start to have fun. So I was like, okay, I can't walk him over there. And eventually, like, I'm like stalling. I'm like, oh, okay, like it's gonna be good, like da da da. And she's looking at me and she's like, just go, like you're gonna have to just go. And so she like holds on to him and I start walking away and he starts bawling. Like bawling. So imagine I'm like walking away from him. She's holding him. He's not like fighting her to get away or anything, but she's like hugging him. And he's like bawling, the saddest face, like just like so upset. And I'm like, oh my God, you don't know what to do. Like, you're so torn. I'm like, my child is crying. He doesn't want me to leave. And I'm just like walking away. I feel like I'm traumatizing him. And so I get in the car and I'm looking out the window because there were cars going by me. So I couldn't reverse and get out of the parking lot right away. So, oh great, my husband's pulling into the driveway. Like, what the fuck, Like, can I just get some work done? Maybe I'm going to pause the recording. Ugh, screw it. Anyways, so cars are going by me and I'm looking at him through the window and she's still like holding him and he's crying, looking at the car. And I'm like, oh my God. So finally I drive by and one of the other teacher of his like had him like picked him right up and was like hugging him in her arms and he was like watching the car and I'm like, oh my God. So I drove home and that like traumatized me as well. So I've been high anxiety all day. Bubbles is going to freak out. I'm going to pause it here till my husband gets in the freaking house. 1 second. All right, I'm back. He took Bubbles outside and he told me he's going to clean bird shit off his car. So now I'm in here by myself. So that's good. So yeah, I've had anxiety all day and I didn't get an update. Usually at school or daycare, if you have a terrible drop off, within like a half hour, you get an update that's like, oh, like he settled in well, like don't worry, he's fine. I never got anything. And so I looked at the email to find the contact number and I texted and they didn't respond for like an hour, but she responded saying that, he stopped crying almost like right away and he was having a lot of fun running around and exploring and whatnot. So I'm curious to see what happens when I pick him up because, well, we're both going to pick him up together. But I'm like, if he has a terrible day, how the frick are we going to get out of the house the rest of the week? And it's like, I have a flexible job. Sure, I can like get work done around Milo's schedule and like squeak in work here and there. But what if I had a legit job? Not that this isn't a legit job, but you know what I mean? Like a non-flexible job, like my husband. And I had to drop him off at camp. If your child hates the first day of camp, how the hell do you get them there for the rest of the week? Like, he's almost 5. It's not like I can just strap him in the car seat and bring him like I would at daycare if he didn't want to go, for example, even though we never really ran into that problem. But So I am praying, fingers crossed, that he had a good day today or has a good day and he's excited to go back. Because if he's not, I literally don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And we've had a handful of mornings at like when he was in kindergarten last year where he's like, no, I don't want to go to school. And I don't remember how I handled that. Like, we were never late for school from what I can remember. So I'm pretty sure it ended up working out. But sometimes it's such a hassle to like get them dressed, get them out the door. And once they get to a certain age and they're just like, no, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to go. I'm like, please? Like, anyways, so fingers crossed. I will update you on camp and whether or not he liked it on next week's solo. So yes, that was my morning, very anxiety inducing, and my husband came home early. We're going to pick him up around 3:45. So there we go. And the thing about camp is he hasn't been in camp all summer. I wasn't comfortable doing it. I was like, oh, he's really young. Like, I don't know. Anyways, but then you feel guilty if he's not in camp having fun and being entertained and social and doing all these fun activities. It's like I feel bad if I send him and I feel bad if he's home with me. Not bored, but like I can only do so much while trying to work at the same time. So it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So we decided to try it this week and fingers crossed. Okay, I wanted to give a Jonas Brothers recap. So many questions about the Camp Rock thing when I posted the reel. So in 2007, the Jonas Brothers filmed Camp Rock, the first one, in Northern Ontario. I don't know the exact location, but I do know the neighborhood that I lived in. On the outskirts of the neighborhood that I lived in, right near my high school, there was a hotel. Now I can't think of the name of the hotel, but it was like the like Homewood Suites or something like that. And they had rooms. Well, all the rooms were suites. So they had like a little living room and a kitchenette and a bedroom. It was for people that had extended stays, like a little apartment. And the Jonas Brothers were staying there. And there were multiple sightings of the Jonas Brothers in Sudbury on the news and whatever. Like Sudbury is like, this doesn't happen in Sudbury, you know. It was very exciting. I remember the whole time they were filming Camp Rock and staying at that hotel, I was like, my eyes were peeled for the Jonas Brothers constantly. Like I left the house, eyes peeled, looking for the Jonas Brothers. Did not see them, unfortunately. I was like, do I wait in the parking lot of this hotel? Like, how creepy do I get? And apparently they were filming scenes not far from my house because we kind of lived on the outskirts of Sudbury. So there was like rural area just like down the highway. And so my friend and I probably forced her to come. This was 2007. So this was my last year of undergrad university. We like hop in my car and we're driving around looking for tour buses and, you know, like equipment vans and stuff, like to have like something to show signs that they were filming something somewhere. Anyways, we did not find anything. But the TikTok that I posted, the auto captions said they filmed in my house. And so many people are writing comments like, oh my God, they filmed Camp Rock in your house? I'm like, oh my God, not in my house. I said near my house. Anyways, I did not find them. But I was never like a massive Jonas Brothers fan to the point like I was with Hanson. Although with Hanson, I was much younger. So I was that like little girl obsessed, crazed over Hanson. Jonas Brothers came around when I was older in university and I liked their music, but I was never like a diehard fan. And when I went to grad school in Ottawa, so this would have been 2009, so the first year of my master's program, they had a concert in Ottawa at the REINA and I got tickets. And again, like I had nobody to come to the concert with me. like I have friends, but most of my friends are not into the things that I am into, like podcasts and like Shawn Mendes and Jonas Brothers and you know what I mean? So I have a hard time finding people to attend things with me. So anywho, I made my sister come visit me in Ottawa and we went to the Jonas Brothers, waving to my husband. We went to the Jonas Brothers concert in Ottawa and it was amazing. Like I became such a fan. It was so fun. So then I didn't really think much about the Jonas Brothers. Like Nick went off by himself, Joe went off with the DNCE band, and I like their music. It's catchy, but didn't really think much of them once they split up. And then I saw that they had, okay, so then I heard in New York they were doing the 5 albums concert, but it was in a smaller venue and they did, each show was a different album. And I was like, that's such a cool idea. Like I literally wanted to fly to New York and see the album that I love, which is the, I don't even know what it's called, but it's the one that has the Fly Away with Me or whatever song, and Paranoid, and like I know that album like back to back. I did not go to New York and see the Jonas Brothers. So when I saw that they were doing a full tour of all 5 albums, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And like their new music is freaking good. It's like bop after bop after bop. So I'm like, who the hell is going to come with me? Like nobody is going to pay this money because I wanted really good seats. Tickets were like just over $400. And I was like, nobody's going to come with me. Like who is going to come with me to see the Jonas Brothers and pay this money? So I was like, you know what? I'll just buy my sister a ticket and she'll have to come to our house and stay the night and come with me to see the Jonas Brothers. So that's what I did. And she did come and it was so fun. Like we were right at the stage. It was the funnest. And I didn't know all the words to all the songs because I'm mostly familiar with just their hits and then that one album. But oh my God, it was so fun. And it was so long. They came on like just after 8 p.m. and it ended like just after 11 p.m. It was like 3 hours long. They had a 15-minute intermission in the middle of it, which was strange. I've never been to a concert that had an intermission. But anyways, yeah, that's that. I used to be a Nick person, but honestly, like Joe is the best. And Nick is so serious on stage. Like I think I saw him smile like twice. Like he's just so serious. Joe is more like having fun on stage. And to be honest, I think Joe's voice is better. Like Nick has a good voice, but I don't find it to be consistent. And yeah, I thought thinking Joe was the star was an unpopular opinion, but it's clearly not. Like 80% of you guys agreed with me and I was shocked. But then I'm like, did Joe make a bad decision going not on his own, but in a band? Because Nick blew up. Like my sister was like, oh, you want to know how many Instagram followers they have? And Nick has like 40 million or something like that. And Joe Jonas has, let me just see here. I'm not even following him. He has 12 million. Like maybe Joe should have just went solo and not in a band and he would have blown up too. Like, I don't know. Why is Nick so much more? Did Nick do something else that I don't know about? He's got 35 million. Sorry. But yeah, it's just weird. Anyways, that's my Jonas Brothers recap and thoughts for now. I don't remember if there was anything else I wanted to say about them. I don't think so. I said that I would talk about the Raquel and Bethenny interview. So I only listened to the first episode. It's 2 episodes. And my biggest thought, like, I'm happy that Bethenny let her come on her platform and tell her side of the story. I feel like we have not heard from Raquel. I'm going to call her Raquel. We have not heard from her at all, but we have heard from everyone else nonstop. like non-stop. Everyone else is making money off of it. People are like, oh my God, Bethenny is like making money off Raquel, or like, did Raquel get paid to do this? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but when the scandal happened, every single Vanderpump cast member put out like merch, like infinite podcast episodes, like clickbaity, clips on social media. Like, I'm happy that somebody was like, Raquel, you want to come on this platform and tell your side of the story, or just like tell people how you're doing, like how this all happened, whatever. So I am happy that she went on the podcast. One thing that pisses me off is that Raquel is being deemed as like the ultimate villain. Everyone hates her. It's like Bethenny's going to be canceled now because she had her on the podcast. Like, why would Bethenny like give her this platform? And it's like, oh my God. Meanwhile, Tom Sandoval you see clips online of him filming Vanderpump scenes with the cast. And I'm like, he was the one that was in the relationship with Ariana. People are acting like, and I believe Raquel that she was not best friends with Ariana. I do believe that. She's a lot younger than Ariana. She was new to the show. I think they were friendly and they like hung out in the same group, but I honestly think that Raquel was mostly involved in Ariana's friend group because Tom was the one inviting her and befriending her. I don't think they were best friends. I think that was thrown out there to make the story more salacious and, like exciting for people. Like, oh my God, they were best friends. In the Bethenny podcast, the first episode, Raquel was saying that she has never even hung out one-on-one with Ariana, like outside of the show. It's always been a group of people, and Tom has been there. So I do believe that part of it. And yeah, it's like, why is Tom now filming scenes with the rest of the cast looking like nothing's wrong? And who knows, maybe we'll see season 11 and it'll be like everyone hates Tom and he is kind of like excluded from things. I don't know. But judging by the scenes, they had like a beach day and they were all filming and Tom's there with everybody. I'm like, what? Like, he's the one that was in the relationship with Ariana. He is older than Raquel. He had more power in the sense that like he was an OG cast member and like owner of these restaurants and like in this band, and you know what I mean? I just don't know why we are so shitting all over Raquel, and Tom seems to be just continuing on with life. I don't know, we'll see. Raquel is not in the next season, I don't think, and I'm curious to see what ends up happening with her, like what she does with her life. I have a feeling she'll just leave the spotlight and not do anything. I don't know, or maybe she'll start a podcast or do something. I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens there, but I believe a lot of things that she says. And yeah, I have to listen to the second episode and I'll share my thoughts on that one as well. That's the biggest thing that stood out to me though. I do believe her that she was not best friends with Ariana. Like, that's very believable. Political views. Quickly. I mentioned that thing about the forest fires. Or no. On the last solo episode, somebody was like, oh my God, what did they say? Oh, climate change. They were like, what are your thoughts on climate change? Because it was a Q&A or something. And I was like, honestly, like, I don't know much. And that is true. I don't know much. I don't really follow the news. I listen to the Toast Monday to Friday. And I'm not someone that is into politics and the news. And maybe you're like, oh, that's because you're privileged and you don't have to be interested in those things. And maybe that is the case. I don't know. But when somebody asked me on Instagram, like, are you more conservative in your political views? I was like, what? Like, why? This is the problem with politics, is that it's like a divide. It's like you're either this or you're this. And I hate that. Like, why can't we just have free thoughts on different topics? Like, why do I have to fit into one side? Because then what ends up happening is you just agree with whatever that party does for all these different like areas of political interest. You're just like, oh yeah, I agree with them because I'm liberal. Like, I have labeled myself a liberal, and so I agree with them on everything. And I think that's the problem. And then you're like, I disagree with whoever labels themselves as a conservative, and I disagree with everything that they do. Like, in a perfect world, it would be a blend of all the different parties, because some are right in some things, or have more favorable ideas in some things, and some are terrible, and there's not one party or like political label that is perfect. So anyways, I wanted to make that clear, that it's like, I'm not going to label myself as something. I don't know what I am. I do know that I don't know a lot about most of the stuff that's going on, but I am willing to take in all different sides of information. I'm not just like, no, I'm this, so I'm blocking that out of my mind and I'm not listening to it. And I agree with this person because they've also labeled themselves this. I think it's so dangerous when you are closed-minded. You're like, no, the forest fires are happening because of climate change, and that's it. End of story. And it's like, you don't investigate further. You don't want to hear anybody else's opinion. You don't want to hear about like research that's being done on like the history of forest fires in Canada and blah, blah, blah. Like, one thing about grad school is that you realize how little you know of things. That's why I always say, like, you go to grad school and you become an imposter, like you have major imposter syndrome, because you realize how little you know. But that's a good place to be, because then you are open to learning and hearing all the different sides and then forming your own thoughts and opinions based on all the information, instead of just being closed-minded and like, no, my party said that it's this, and so it's this, and I'm not going to investigate any further. Anyone that tells me anything differently, I'm going to ignore and shame them online. It doesn't get us anywhere. So I'm the first one to say that I don't know a lot about these topics. I don't. But I'm not just going to hear one side of the story and be like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Because I don't know. I don't know. So anywho, that's that on that. A reminder that, so yeah, I don't have a political view. I'm not like one or the other or this or that. Like, give me a question, a problem, and I will do some research and come up with something, you know? Book club starts September 1st. I think we know what our first book is going to be, but we are going to confirm that tonight because we are meeting for the first time tonight. We are going to launch on Instagram on September 1st. We will give you all the information. Right now, I'm trying to finish Pineapple Street by September 1st. It's going well. I'm over 50% done. It is one of those books that has a ton of characters, and I started to get confused, like, who are the siblings and who are the spouses? Like, there was just so many names, and it jumps back and forth. I also was extremely stressed and anxious for like a week because of that event that I was hosting, and so I don't think I was able to like fully like, what do you call it? Fully like get the information into my head. What's it called? Like, not compound the information. Like, anyways, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So that could be it, or it might just be like hard to follow. I don't like when they have so many different characters and they jump back and forth. 2 or 3 is fine. I don't know how many they have in this book. there's just a lot of names, and it's like hard. Like, at the beginning of the book, they should have like a family tree. That would be very helpful, because then every time you read a chapter that's like a new name, like it's from someone else's perspective, you could be like, oh, it's this person. They're related to everyone else in this way. That would be helpful. I'm not like absolutely obsessed with it, but it's fine for now. So we'll see what happens. And then I'm excited for book club. So yeah, that's that on that. I love our book club name, so stay tuned for that. It's clever. Anywho, thank you guys so much for listening, and please rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening. That is how we grow and take over the world. New podcast will be starting, I think, October 1st, unless that's a weekend. Let me check the calendar. That is a Sunday. So October 2nd, I'm giving myself all of September to get the studio set up, get myself into a routine, and then we are going to go full steam ahead on September 2nd, freaking October 2nd. I haven't finalized a name for it yet. A little bit. I have an idea, but anywho, be excited. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Okay. Bye.